before, make sure the tip has solder on it. Since we just cleaned the board, it does. Can't stress how much difference night and day it is when you're trying to clean the pads if you put a little solder on your tip first before you touch it to the solder wick. And then, I mean, you're going to have to stop, cut the piece off, clean off the tip of your soldering iron, and re-tin it. Don't want to be much when you're doing it. You just want a little bit on there. I don't know what it, I mean, I'm not an expert at this, so it just picks up the solder that's on the pads so much better. Versus trying to do it without tinning it. I was doing it before without tinning it, and sometimes the pads, I really didn't have too much of a problem with the chip, but on the board, the pads on the board didn't turn out so circular like they do, like they're supposed to be, and as clean. I don't know what it was, can't even describe it. So tin your tip before you clean. Come on. Definitely don't pull if the solder wick starts sticking. You saw what I was doing, I was bending it back and forth. You can't just pull up, you pull the pad out. Whoops. If you pull the pad out, you don't even want to know. There is a website out there I found, I can't remember it. I did a lot of Googling, trying to figure out how to replace damaged pads or lifted pads. But I've never done it. Now you can go over it dry without having any solder on the end. Looks so good right now, I'm just going to stop. MEK time. If you're just now watching this video and you didn't watch the other ones, MEK is a cleaning solution I got at Lowe's in the paint aisle. It's like methyl ketone, I believe. It's kind of like a paint thinner, I believe, but it evaporates. I don't know if paint thinner, I think paint thinner evaporates. I don't know. Just use it because it works. Just want to keep cleaning it until you don't have any more brown on your Q-tip. Alright, it's still a little brown, but dang, I've just hit this thing 100 times. Last time, promise. Alright. So that's darn near as good as it gets. Now if you see any copper, I can't explain it, you have to see it in between the balls, just go ahead and take a Sharpie and blot it out. That'll keep the balls from merging in that spot. Okay. So, just put a little dab of the king bow on your finger. Doesn't have to be much. I mean, I barely have any flux on these things when I'm putting it on to reball or putting it on to put the chip on. I mean, you don't need much. why I virtually just wipe it all back off, wipe my finger. Alright. So now we're going to grab our chip, grab a Q-tip, put some MEK on it, and we're going to clean the top of it because it's got some gunk on it, some flux. I usually like to clean the sides. Make sure you don't see any like fibers from the Q-tip on there. You can actually take some compressed air, hit it. You don't want to blast it. Alright, so we find our pin 1 position, set her down. Just like any other chip, you want to have the white on all 4 sides, like a thin white line, just a guide. And you don't want it to be perfect, because if you're like me, I try to get it perfect, but I even try to look under there and make sure. But since this board has so many high spots, it's kind of impossible to do. So I'm going to have to go by the white lines and the white lines only on this one. Sometimes